Dawn fractures the horizon over an endless savanna, bleeding crimson into gold-dusted haze as two tribes, once distant kin, now severed by generations of silence, gather at the life-giving river, with eyes narrowed beneath furrowed brows, suspicion simmering like coiled serpents. Children splash obliviously in the shallows, laughter echoing beneath acacia boughs that have witnessed countless seasons of both harmony and rupture. Unaware, this moment will be carved into the marrow of human memory as the first true wound of civilization. Elders clutch bone charms worn smooth by ancestral prayers, whispering through cracked, sun-dried lips words meant to summon protection, but which instead seem to beckon calamity. Deep shadows stretch like grasping claws across cracked earth and brittle reeds. A lone hunter drops his spear mid-stride, stunned not by fleeing antelope, but by the low, guttural throb of distant war drums pulsing like a starving heart beneath the skin of the world. Dust devils spiral upward on scorching zephyrs. Warriors daub faces with clay mixed with ash of last year's dead, transforming visages into masks of vengeance, while women tuck infants into gnarled baobab roots, eyes wide with primal knowing that safety is an illusion easily shattered by the hunger for dominance. Smoke curls from a single torch, black against pale afternoon sky. A vulture circles high, wings etched in stark silhouette, indifferent witness to what unfolds. Flint knives glint coldly in hidden fire pits, catching reflections that wink with cruel anticipation. The moon rises behind storm clouds, casting silver veils of dread just as enemy drums crescendo into a deafening rhythm that shakes the soil. Trees bend as wind howls through thorned branches like a chorus of the soon-to-be-lost. From thickets, a child peeks out, eyes reflecting orange flames as spears fly like comets, trailing screams across dusk, shattering fragile peace that once clung to this riverbank like morning dew. Water turns red slowly, swirling with feathers, broken reeds, and the first freely spilled blood of an unending cycle, pooling in cracked river mud where a mother collapses over her still child, her wail swallowed by roaring chaos. Fire, once sacred keeper of warmth and story, now consumes huts, with greedy tongues turning hearths into pyres and lullabies into elegies. Victorious warriors stomp in grotesque triumph, dragging captives by braided hair, faces gleaming with sweat and blood under a setting sun that bathes them in false gold, casting long, cruel shadows stretching into the future. Captives kneel in dust, heads bowed beneath heavy yokes of vine and thorn that dig raw furrows into trembling wrists. An elder, once keeper of lineage and law, watches with hollow eyes, as traditions, songs, and sacred dances burn to ash, his spirit broken long before his body fails. Moonlight reveals shallow graves dug by trembling hands, each mound a silent scream against injustice now etched into human history. A lone drum beats slow, a dirge, not just for the dead, but for stolen innocence. Soft rain falls, mixing tears with the river's guilt, attempting to cleanse what cannot be washed away. Seasons turn relentlessly in the wake of that rupture, where once land knew only shared harvests. And communal song, fields now bloom under watchful eyes of new rulers who fence earth with sharpened stakes, decreeing who may till and who must kneel. Children who once ran free learn to obey with eyes dulled by labor, laughter replaced by rhythmic thud. Of pestles grinding grain, for masters feasting on terraces draped in stolen leopard skins, reclining on cushions stuffed with feathers of birds hunted just for show. Slaves haul stone blocks under merciless sun, backs bent like broken branches. One child drops his load, and is punished not with words, but with lash and enforced silence. His whimper lost to wind, carrying ghost songs, echoes of forgotten names and rivers that once ran free. Night brings restless dreams of liberation as stars blink coldly, indifferent constellations mapping sorrow's path. Yet within that indifference, rebellion stirs. Secret meetings rustle like dry leaves in hidden groves. Hands clasp in darkness beneath a waning crescent. A stolen knife glints under a woven mat, oiled and waiting. When moon hides behind storm clouds, courage swells in silence. Rebels move like hunting cats through thorn-scratched dark as thunder masks footsteps and watchfires flicker dimly. Guards lulled by monsoon's hum. Gates creak open on oiled hinges turned by a traitor's quiet hand. Flames leap anew, not as destroyers but as liberators, fed by righteous fury. Screams of masters pierce air like eagle shrieks. Chains shatter loudly against stone corridors, echoes sounding like the world sighing in relief, though relief is short-lived. Dawn reveals smouldering ruins under ash-grey skies, bodies strewn like discarded grain. Survivors wander dazed, eyes hollowed not by loss alone, but by victory's cost. Even as a new leader rises, cloaked in lion pelt and doubt, the crowd cheers in desperate relief, blind to the cycle already turning. New laws are carved not into stone, but into bark, bone and fear. Watchtowers rise skyward, casting long shadows over people who once knew open horizons. Gold flows from distant lands, carried on backs broken by greed. Temples swell with tribute as idols grin with jeweled eyes that see everything and judge nothing. Priests chant in incense-choked darkness, weaving myths of righteous rule conquest as divine favor, subjugation as cosmic order. Children learn these tales in courtyards, imaginations colonized before hands hold tools. Dissenters vanish quietly into night, swallowed like sacrifices to nameless gods. Walls grow higher, painted not with art but blood warnings drying into rust-colored lessons. Markets bustle with false vibrancy, yet eyes avoid each other's gaze, trust the first casualty of systemic fear. A girl sells water from a cracked gourd, hands trembling from hunger's ache. Soldiers patrol streets, boots crushing wildflower sprouts, nature's quiet rebellion. Rain tries to cleanse bloodstains from courtyards and consciences, but memory lingers. In old bones and riverbeds, carried on wind as ghost songs rustling through dry grass. A single sapling dares grow in palace wall crack, leaves trembling but unbroken. Seasons blur under routine oppression. Crops bow not to wind but to yoke of endless extraction. Stars continue silent vigil, indifferent yet present. Drought descends, slow, cruel, cracking earth like ancient parchment, turning wells bitter. Tongues swell in silent mouths as famine gnaws hearts, turning kin against kin. Loyalists hoard grain behind snarling dogs and high walls, bellies full as neighbors starve. Yet hope flickers. Rebels form anew. Faces hidden behind clay masks of ancestral spirits, gathering under storm-threatened skies where oaths are sworn in blood mixed with rainwater. Siege engines awaken with groans like wounded titans. Arrows blot out sun, falling like metallic hail. Gates crash inward under Iron Ram's kiss. Streets flood with chaos. Torchlight painting, nightmare scenes. Palaces crumble as statues topple without grace. Gold melts in fire, pooling like tears of vanity, evaporating into smoke with no memory of glory. New banners rise, dyed in ash and crimson hope, fluttering promise of just dawn, but victors soon wear crowns forged. From old tyrants' iron, reshaping tyranny into new mask. Laws rewritten swiftly, justice blindfolded, not by principle but silk embroidered with lies. Slaves trade places, chains change color but not character. Children bow low, eyes dimmed by endless cycle. Harvests feed armies, not families. Temples chant hymns praising order. Over freedom, dissent branded treason, punished in sunless cells where time loses meaning. Yet resistance persists subtly. A poet carves truth into a gourd hidden in dry well, trusting wind to carry verses on dry gusts rippling through alleys where whispers bloom like night jasmine. Rebellion roots not in violence, but art, story, quiet persistence of memory. Moonlit secret schools gather. Elders teach true tales beneath banyan trees cradling ancestral bones. Stars align strangely. Omens ripple through animal dreams, as if earth senses turning tide. Then earthquake splits roads and royal tombs. Rivers change course wildly, flooding granaries, washing away illusion of permanence. People flee in masses, carrying only hope and scars, finding refuge among nomads, sharing fire without question. New villages form, built on kindness, not conquest. Elders plant olive shoots, praying for gentler winds. Children play with sticks, reenacting shared harvest, not war or throne. Women weave fabrics with patterns of shared stars, not tribal marks. Men share hunting grounds, no borders in sand. Moon smiles softly on fragile peace, taking root like moss on stone. But peace is never absolute in worlds shaped by first injustice. Distant drums resume cruel rhythm, faint then unmistakable. Smoke stains horizon with black fingers. Scouts return breathless, eyes wide with ancient knowing. Villagers sharpen plowshares, not with hatred but weary resolve. Fire circles camp, not just for warmth but ward against despair. A baby cries softly, wrapped in faded gold, salvaged from palace ruin. Mother hums lullaby. Same tune sung before First War, a melody of continuity. Stars blink in rhythm as time folds. Dawn brings armored riders with banners of old glyphs made new. Horses snort in dust, hooves crushing chutes. Spears gleam identically, though faces wear new hatred. Peace shatters like glass, scattering sharp regret. As blood spills again into same river, drinking same sorrow, chains reforged from melted plows and dreams. Masters preach destiny, claiming gods bless greed. Slaves lower eyes but clench jaws in quiet rage. Rain tries to cleanse, but mud holds pain's memory. Vultures gather on broken posts. A single flute sounds melody of resistance reborn, not loud but persistent. Moon hides face in shame as shadows deepen, swallowing hope in velvet jaws. Yet in darkest corner, spark refuses to die. Hands pass warm embers hidden in clay urns at dawn. Eyes meet in silence, sharing unspoken revolution. Weavers stitch coded maps into rugs, paths to hidden valleys. Potters mold secret signs inside bowls for daily bread. Dancers mimic storms, footfalls signaling warning. Seasons turn, frost covers fresh graves lightly. Snow blankets injustice, but roots still burn below. Spring thaws surface, revealing scars and buried seeds. Green shoots emerge bold, piercing ash and iron. Children follow sprouts, learning resilience from soil. Elders nod, watching nature's quiet war. Rivers carve new paths, ignoring borders carved by kings. Wind erases footprints, making way for truer journeys. A girl climbs high cliff, watching sun drown in ocean. Dreaming of sailing beyond any crown's reach. Stars guide her vision, constellations spelling freedom. She carves small boat hidden beneath willow roots. Moon guards secret with silver light as tides whisper promise, pulling hearts toward open sea. Others join nightly, rope, sail, courage. No drums, no banners, just quiet resolve. In dark eyes, they push off at midnight, waves swallowing their past. Dawn finds them distant specks on endless ocean blue. Behind them, empire burns, yet again, on its own pride. Smoke signals despair, not conquest. Ruins crumble as vines reclaim stone and sin. Animals return, foxes nesting in throne rooms. Rain soaks plazas, washing names from pillars. Wind sings through arches with melodies of forgotten tongues. New tribes wander in, building huts from fallen marble. Children play with relics. Sword becomes stick, crown a bowl. Elders tell vague tales mixing truth with myth. Moon watches anew, hopeful yet wary. Of cycles. Far across ocean, boat lands on untouched white shore. Feet touch sand, gently. First steps of unchained people. They build with driftwood, homes without locks or walls. Fire circles again, but for warmth and stories, not war. Stars name their children, not swords, kings, or debts. Seasons pass in peace. Harvests shared without ledger. Yet whispers arrive slow, carried by seabirds. Ships appear on horizon, sails marked with old sigils. Fear blooms like thorn, piercing naive trust. They hide in forests deep, learning trees' silent language. Moon teaches signals, light through leaves, coded beams. They defend without hate, traps woven. From vines and wit, invaders grow confused, lost in green labyrinth. Nature fights with them, wasps, roots, floods, fog. Ships depart, defeated, carrying tales of haunted isle. Villagers emerge slow, blinking in sunlight. They bury few dead under ferns. New oath sworn, not in blood but soil. We own nothing, so nothing can be stolen. Moon nods in approval. Years weave into decades. Songs replace written laws. Children grow wise, reading sky, not scrolls. No coins minted. Trade flows like river bends. Elders pass in sleep. Faces calm as falling leaves. Bones feed soil, becoming part of pact. Storms come and go, but village stands unbroken. Walls remain absent, trust built into every beam. Fire never conquers, only cooks, warms, tells stories. Shadows exist, but never deepen into chains. Stars remain constant, mapping freedom in dark skies. Rivers run clean, untouched by greed or battle. Wind carries only seeds, no war cries, no laments. First injustice fades like scars beneath new skin. Yet memory lingers deep in rhythms of shared breath. Moon watches always, guarding fragile balance. Dawn breaks eternal, offering choice with every ray. Hands join at sunrise, not in prayer but labor. Eyes meet without fear, seeing souls, not status. Earth sighs in relief. As justice finds quiet root, civilization renews, not by sword, but by shared sunrise. Endless, patient, luminous.